So you're looking to get into RT school. That's great. Congratulations. So on my last video, it was basically, is RT school easy to get into? Is it difficult to get into? Well, anyway, in this video, I want to talk about where you should go to RT school. So I think there are a couple factors that you should look at. Number one, cost. How expensive is the school? Is it going to be a good return on investment in the long run? And then number two, so how's the school's reputation? Do a lot of graduates pass the boards? Do a lot of graduates never go into respiratory therapy at all? What's that like? So let's look at cost. You can go to a community college. That's going to cost you maybe between $20,000–$30,000 to go to an RT school. Or you can go to a larger school and it may cost anywhere closer to $60,000 to $70,000. Now, this may be for a associate's degree versus a bachelor's degree, or it may just be an associate's degree versus an associate's degree. It honestly all depends. At the end of the video, I'm going to talk about what I think you should do, associates versus bachelors, but for right now, just focus on that. Focus on the cost. Just to get through school and become a respiratory therapist, because it doesn't matter if you have associates or a bachelor's. They both take the same test, and they both get the same license, and they both get paid the same, so you tell me. Like I said, I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit more at the end. So then, you are looking at the cost of the program. Okay, well let's say this school is super cheap, but they have a 70% pass rate for the TMC and CSE, which are your boards for respiratory therapy, which you need to pass in order to get your license and start practicing as a respiratory therapist. Okay, that's not so good. They probably have, they're probably lacking in their teaching in their program altogether. So I'm willing to pay a little bit more money to make sure that I actually pass my boards and I can practice as a respiratory therapist. Because let's say you spend $20,000 on a cheaper school and you never become a respiratory therapist. Okay, that was a waste of 2 years and all that money. So therefore, I'm willing to pay a little bit extra to look at a school or go to a school that has a 99% pass rate, because I want to go ahead and become a respiratory therapist. I want to start making money. I want to start practicing. I want to start helping patients. So that is two things you want to look at: cost and the reputation. How long's the program? Am I going to be able to actually pass the boards when I'm done? How well do they prepare their students for becoming a respiratory therapist? I strongly suggest that you get in contact with different schools, respiratory board or their administration, their director, whatever. Just kind of get a handle on the school and see if it's the right fit for you. Now, unfortunately, you may not have this option, especially if you're looking at community colleges. You may have to take just whatever's close to you and just go from there. However, I would still strongly suggest looking at the cost and the reputation, because you don't want to spend all that money to not actually become a respiratory therapist or not be able to pass your boards in the long run. Because I do know several people who went to RT school and they never became a respiratory therapist because they could not pass their boards. And that's just the sad truth for some people, and I feel bad for them, honestly. I try and help them out as much as I can. I tell them where I think they should go to study and all that other stuff, but that's why you want to pick a good school. Anyway, like I said, I was going to talk about associates versus bachelors. So I do have a whole other video going over everything, the differences and all that other stuff. Like I said, you don't really get paid difference at all. I only have an associate's at the moment. When I finish my bachelor's, they're not going to pay me a dime extra. I work with people right now who have their bachelor's degree who have been in RT just as long as I have. We make the same. It doesn't really matter. It is great education though, and I'm never against education. So if you do want to get your bachelor's degree, this is what I strongly suggest. You get your associate's degree, start working for your hospital, and most hospitals have tuition reimbursement, so therefore what you do is you start taking your classes for your bachelor's degree while working, and you can take 1 class a semester, 2 classes a semester, whatever. I went to Boise State, super easy, mainly writing papers and all that other stuff. and just reading studies, and like I said, very easy. You don't have to do a whole lot of work. It's much easier than like actual RT school for your associates. But anyway, you can take the classes while working, hospital's paying for it, and you can eventually get your bachelor's. So if that's something that interests you, that's something I highly recommend, is you get your associates first and then get your bachelor's. Well, anyway, I hope this video was helpful to you. If you're interested in respiratory therapy in general, make sure you check out the rest of my channel because I have tons of videos about respiratory therapy, including a day in the life and all that other stuff. Anyway, see you in the next one.